Waiting for me. Hi, lady. Thanks for joining me again. Hey. Hey, girlfriend. 3 nights in a row. Aren't I doing well? Don't be shy. Hey, do you want me to call you lady or do you want me to call you by your name? Lady. Keep you anonymous. The Lewis is joining. Oh. Stacey and Martin haven't joined me yet. Join- Of course you are. Of course you are. I'll be the tramp. Right. So since it's only you and me, I'll start the video. This isn't a horror one. This is about like scary. What's this? Moments filmed seconds before disaster. Incredible moments. So it's not a scary one. Um, so let's have a look and see what goes on here. Eh?
Hello, everyone.
Oh, it's too loud. Too loud. Too loud. Too loud. That's better. Well, I think I'm getting a bit better at this. I was like everything else, eh, lady. As soon as you start doing something, after a few times, you get much better at it. I think I'm winking if you can see my eye. I think you know what I'm saying. Oh my god. That's you, that is. Oh, that must have been awful. Ah, look at this. And there she goes. Oh my god.
What the?
Oh, ouch. Ouch. Oh yeah, no one was injured. Okay. Bloody hell.
Panic erupted as a violent
Horrific.
tornado ripped through the town of Utah, tearing apart buildings and sending debris flying dangerously through the air.
Wow. Look what that was. Oh. I watched about a minute of this and I thought, yeah, I need to watch this with everyone on the live. But you're cleaning, aren't you? Right,
The
now,
sheer
mind.
force of this massive landslide left everyone nearby completely stunned as huge rocks came crashing down the mountainside.
Wow. Man, watch this guy. Just walks away. Nothing
Luckily,
happened.
the man reacted just in time because that runaway truck could have easily caused a horrifying tragedy on the narrow road.
Oh, wow. That was too close. That was too close.
Инструменте пишет, холодный выдался на сентябрь, еду с работы, можно что-нибудь с саксофоном налегке.
Oh no, water. Oh, look, shark, shark. Oh, right in your face. Right in your face. No chance. Absolutely no chance.
Seeing a
No.
giant shark swim this close to the cage is enough to make anyone's heart start racing instantly.
Right, hold on. I'm going to check what Fear of the Ocean is. Open space. What is the fear of the ocean or open spaces? Oh, in the wrong bit. What is the fear of the ocean, open water, or open spaces called?
Fear of the ocean or so if you're talking about open space and that's overwhelming but distinct.
Okay, so for the ocean, it's called thalassophobia. I think I might have that.
If you think
Oh, shush. Yeah, so thalassophobia. I think I'm okay if I'm on like a big ferry or you know, obviously a boat, but a big boat, a big huge boat, not a dinghy. Are they loving that?
Massive clouds of dust and debris exploded across the road as a powerful landslide collapsed near the tunnel entrance in southern China.
Scary stuff. Could be a website, a channel called No One Was Injured.
The devastating Enschede fireworks factory explosion created a massive shockwave and smoke cloud that terrified everyone nearby.
I wonder. Horrifying. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. That is mental. No one was in. Right, okay.
This bus driver was literally inches away
No
from
one was injured.
disaster
Oh
while
my gosh.
navigating one of the most dangerous mountain roads imaginable.
Oh. Oh. Oh, that could have been worse. Oh. Leave in. Leave in. Oh. Don't drink and drive, folks.
Well, almost there.
Oh.
He's coming. The Kraken. The glory.
Kraken's coming.
Holy shit.
Oh, nature is mental. Nature is wild.
A massive section of
that.
Iceland's Vatnajökull glacier suddenly broke apart
Vatnajökull.
and crashed into the lagoon with incredible force.
And then the big huge tidal wave coming. Oh, what's going to happen here? Oh no. Oh, that's a bad day. We only had one job.
The ocean looked absolutely unstoppable as
Oh, no.
gigantic waves battered the ship from every direction
No,
during the
see?
storm.
Is this thalassophobia or is it when you're underneath? No, no chance. No way I could be a captain. It's a monsoon. A monsoon. Call it.
Panic spread across the Brazilian beach as huge waves suddenly crashed into the shoreline, sweeping away chairs, umbrellas, and beach tables within seconds.
Think for the fish having to do with all that crap.
Oh my god.
Not another rock slide.
Oh my god.
Why are they all standing there though? Did they know that was going to happen? Oh, that will take a while to clean up.
Huge clouds of dust and debris swallowed the mountain road as the landslide completely shut down traffic in the area. This terrifying collision at sea happened so fast that the crew barely had any time to react before impact.
Oh well, no work today.
Vamos, amigo.
Oh no. Oh my god, no. Oh wow.
Cooking under low roofs made of flammable materials can be extremely
Yeah,
risky,
that's stupid.
especially when using large open flames.
I mean, I've done some stupid things in my time, but nothing like that. I mean, these are... I don't know if you're being facetious. Lady. These are scary
Snow
though.
accumulation on
Doesn't it always
rooftops
have
can
to be a
become
bit horror?
extremely dangerous when the weight suddenly causes large sections to collapse without warning.
Oh, say that and then the horror music comes on. Oh, is that a big huge breeze block or something? What the hell was that? Oh, if that says nobody was injured, that's talking crap. Bloody hell.
A massive explosion suddenly erupted at the waste processing company, sending huge clouds of smoke blasting across the industrial site.
I think they have to put no one was injured just so they can show
Everyone at the
footage.
birthday party
Oh
was
my
left
gosh.
terrified after the floor suddenly gave way during dinner, though luckily all of them escaped safely.
How? Oh well, if that's all it was. Some fat bitch. Whoa, whoa! That's mad. That is mad.
A massive section of Columbia Glacier suddenly surged nearly 60 meters into the air before collapsing
Oh.
back into the ocean
Does that
in an
remind you of, lady?
unbelievable display of nature's power.
Exactly. Exactly. Mother Nature, at its best. Or worse, I should say. Oh. Oh. Is that how new planes are made? Wow.
Spectators watched in horror as two Navy fighter jets collided midair during a dangerous maneuver at the Gunfighter Skies air show.
These are scary. See what other people are missing? Eh? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That was too close.
One quick reaction
That was
and
way
a
too
desperate
close.
jump saved him from what could have been a devastating accident in a split second.
Oh. Wow. Wow. These are all pretty much, if it wasn't caught on camera, you wouldn't believe it. You know? Look at that, that's mad.
Driving through this massive sandstorm feels almost apocalyptic as the entire highway disappears behind walls of dust.
Can't see shit. so dangerous. Oh no. Overheight, right, so... Yeah. Oh. How can they not know? Surely they've got like GPS and routes and stuff. No! Oh. I'm a fire starter. Oh,
A fireworks show in
oh, wow.
Iceland turned chaotic when rockets exploded
Right.
uncontrollably through the snowy streets. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Yeah, okay. Do we believe him? Oh, oh, nobody was injured. Shut up. Oh my god. Oh my god. Right. That no one was injured. I do not believe him. I do not believe him. That jet pilot went right into that dam, and then the whole thing went, and nobody was injured. No, no chance. No chance.
One wrong maneuver during the high-speed Sopot yacht race was enough to create chaos as the damaged sailboat collapsed into the sea.
This is why I do this. Because I'm safe. Safe and boring. Oh, the whole mast then. Splitting.
Wow.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Yeah, drive closer to it. What was that? These are mental, aren't they?
Whale sharks may look intimidating because of their enormous size, but they are actually gentle filter-feeding giants of the ocean.
That's me, but on Earth. Why don't you just leave them alone? Escape! 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 Keep going! Keep going!
This close call at Kruger National Park shows exactly why tourists are warned not to explore wildlife reserves
Bloody
without
humans.
trained guides.
What are they doing? And then they're all laughing. Right, what's going to happen to him? He's sitting there all la la la. And then the roof's going to cave in or something. Oh well. Like Glasgow. That's a bit like Glasgow.
This river was completely overwhelmed by a massive wave of logs and
Yeah,
debris
exactly.
rushing downstream with incredible force.
Los.
Oh, what caused that? Hard as well. That is scary.
A Boeing 747 engine blast in St. Martin was so powerful that the jet wash near the beach runway literally blew people across the sand.
Why are they sitting behind a fucking plane? Are they stupid? Who the hell sits behind a plane? I mean, I'm sure it'd be a bit fun. Oh. Whoa. Totally missed what happened there. What happened there? Sorry.
The family reacted bravely when a
Alright, a tire.
The family reacted bravely when a bear approached their dog, and the father's quick actions forced the animal to retreat.
Oh! Yeah, screaming all that fucking mental is going to help, innit? Yeah, you go, pal. Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah, see, men, we need them. Exactly. Why have they got to run me on a beach?
A powerful debris flow suddenly rushed through the Aconcagua region in Argentina, carrying huge amounts of rocks, dirt, and mud through the dry mountain ravine with incredible force.
These are absolutely mental, aren't they? Mother Nature, eh? Wow. Don't mess with Mother Nature.
Violent waves and strong winds turned this peaceful harbor into complete chaos as boats were tossed around by the rough sea.
Oh, that's clean. Oh, wow. Oh, he felt that. Oh, he felt that. Oh.
Panic broke out in Solapur, India, after ammunition materials
God.
accidentally ignited during loading, causing a massive roadside explosion.
See where they came from?
Panic
This guy was taking the whatever those materials were from his car.
broke out in Solapur, India, after ammunition materials accidentally ignited during loading, causing a massive roadside explosion.
My God.
The
He's got a
former
hell of a
Trump
clean-up
Plaza
job.
Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, collapsed in a massive controlled demolition that sent huge clouds of dust across the skyline.
But yay! Ah! Wait for it. Two birds.
Massive chunks of ice suddenly broke away from Argentina's Perito Moreno Glacier, crashing down with incredible force in front of hundreds of stunned spectators.
I'm going to run. Nope, just going to stand there. It would be a sight to see though. Hell, it's cheaper than fireworks.
What looks like a fireworks display is actually Venezuela's failing power grid erupting with dangerous sparks and explosions.
Oh. What's the point of having a wall there? What's the point of that wall? Is that called a ghost devil or something? Don't know.
Workers in Florida were left stunned as a powerful dust tornado tore through the site with incredible force.
Called a dust devil? Is that a Hoover? What the hell?
This intense hailstorm turned the entire lake into chaos as countless hailstones slammed into the water like an endless barrage.
Jay? You're quite large, or they quite small or about the same size.
Severe freezing conditions on the Mama River created a massive ice jam, where huge chunks of ice piled together and completely blocked the river's flow.
What happened here? That truck at the back, is that going to collide? No. I thought that truck was going to collide.
Coming
with the other one.
face to face with a shark underwater is terrifying, and the diver's only choice
like
was to
getting out
calmly
back,
push it
don't
away
really,
with one hand.
Oh. No, sorry, no, no chance.
Engineers used specialized airbags to push the massive rock loose after it became dangerously unstable on the snowy mountainside in Washington.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, that's controlled, but that's fine. This evidently isn't.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
A massive landslide struck the Upper Sisokan hydropower project area in Indonesia, sending huge amounts of earth and debris crashing down the mountainside. Powerful thunderstorms triggered severe flooding across Nevada, turning streets into fast-moving rivers of muddy water.
Yes, mess with nature, nature bites back, eh? No one was injured though.
哎，后轮好像冒烟了。
There's a lot of tires in this video.
轮胎别靠太近，碎胶飞着呢。哦，他打双闪往边上走了，还好没失控。
The glass door stood no chance against the powerful storm winds and shattered instantly under the pressure.
Oh my god. Now the office is stuck. Whoa! Is that driver just out of control or?
Oh!
What the hell? Oh, no. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Oh. Nobody was injured though.
Researchers at
swear,
FIU
that's a
are
lie.
using powerful Category 5 hurricane force winds to deliberately destroy houses in order to study structural weaknesses and improve future building safety.
My nose is all the energy up here. Now, they're not going any further. That'd be China, Hong Kong.
It may look fascinating at first, but storms like this can become dangerous within seconds, and he found that out instantly.
Scary stuff. I watched another one of those, lady. So scary because I enjoyed them. Which one? Incredible moments caught on camera. 85 most unbelievable earthquakes, or 199 strange things happening right now around the world. You decide. Guess what? Okay, so type in. So let's see. Okay, so one, two, tornado, tsunamis. No, right. Hold on. Right. Okay, so incredible moments is one. 85 most unbelievable earthquakes is two, and the 199 strange things is three. One, two. Do you want me to find one on tsunamis and none of them? Is that what you meant? Three. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my God. Maybe.
Look at that.
No chance.
I'm gonna do it.
I like this channel.
God, look at that!
Right, sorry, give me a
Oh my
second. Right, we've
God!
seen that one.
Look at it!
Right, I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to subscribe to LKO Incredible Moments. Because this doesn't always have to be horror. Because these are scary as
Just
well.
run! Oh! Oh my
I think
God!
that's the second time we've seen that lady. I think they're trying to tell us something. Whoa.
This dramatic wall of clouds is known as a roll cloud, a rare weather phenomenon caused by cold air rapidly pushing beneath warm, moist air during a storm.
Look at this. Look at the length of it. I think he's just having a wee cup of tea in that diner, or whatever you want to call it. Tea room. See mean words right now. I mean, what is that? Are they on is that a building or a... Oh my God.
People watched in shock as cracks opened in the ground and dark liquid bubbled out in India, a phenomenon that may have been triggered by underground pressure and geothermal activity.
I haven't seen that when you're walking to work or just walking about the city centre. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he did. Oh, what the? Wait a minute.
No, shock face.
What?
Definitely.
This glowing orb is known as ball lightning, one of the rarest and most mysterious atmospheric phenomena ever recorded, spotted here in Denver, Colorado during stormy weather.
Oh, shit.
Stormy weather. Oh, I've never really seen that, right? What's that? That is mental. Is that a cloud? What was that?
This incredible cloud formation looks
A
like a
face.
giant human figure in the sky,
Yeah.
a natural illusion created by sunlight, shadows, and the towering shape of the cloud itself.
I like that. Exactly. Exactly. That's cool, isn't it? The bikes should be flying off soon. Oh my goodness. There's not left much of you.
A powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck Davao City in the Philippines, causing terrified residents to panic and run for safety as buildings violently shook.
Audio VO people. Just run, hit them first. Oh, that's like a cobweb cloud. Cobweb.
The sky over Norman, Oklahoma turned surreal on May 8th, 2026, as storm clouds reflected the sunset, creating these incredible glowing pink wave-like patterns.
Crazy.
I like that.
Oh putain,
Oh,
oh
rock call.
putain.
Imagine just standing there and then seeing that. Would you be scared? Ball of lightning, yeah.
China
Balls.
successfully launched a Long March 6A rocket,
balls are
and the
shocking.
glowing trail seen in the night sky was created by rocket exhaust illuminated high in the atmosphere.
Cool. Like a sperm. The whole thing gonna collapse now. Run over, run across, run across. Run across. New bridge incoming. Oh.
They managed to create a mini tornado inside their home by spinning air rapidly upward, forming a visible vortex similar to how real tornadoes develop in nature.
It's cool. Don't be scared that it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and takes your house. Oh, don't tell me, oh, that whole thing's going to go. Oh, that's such a shame.
This terrifying tornado in St. Louis, Missouri turned the parking lot into chaos as intense winds ripped through the area and sent debris flying everywhere.
That is scary. Oh, wow. How strong? I know they can be obviously very strong, but wow. No one was injured. Ugh.
Они слеплены, они просто идут вот так вот в рядок, одна за одной. 21 штука мы пересчитали.
This strange creature appears to be a hammerhead
I
worm,
know, that was
an
awful.
invasive flatworm known for its long
Flatworm?
body and unusual head shape that resembles a hammer.
Poor horses.
A powerful hailstorm suddenly covered the ground with ice as large
They'll
hailstones
be
slammed
terrified.
across
Come
the
on.
farm and sent the horses running for shelter.
These horses are just terrified.
No wonder. No things.
Oh! Holy
Oh. I was going to run out of the kids.
The ski
Oh,
resort turned
avalanche.
into chaos within seconds as a massive avalanche in Italy sent terrified people scrambling to escape the rushing snow.
Okay.
All those wee kids.
好物只卖好水果，立即上好时机。
你好. All the bus. An earthquake again. Obviously.
好水仅由生活圈，
中正汉口街品家77，
国外特区核心热区站前商圈，
高规格精品住宅机密。
This unusual
Oh, we're
eruption
in the
in
money.
Wanda, Taiwan is known as a mud volcano,
Oh, it's just
where
mud.
trapped underground
not
gases
oil.
push mud and water to the surface.
Interesting to watch though. If you were there. Oh, what's going to happen? Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom. Oh my god. See that no one was injured? I do not believe it.
This giant fish is a Napoleon wrasse, one of the largest reef fish in the world. And encounters
my
like this
gosh.
make diving feel absolutely unforgettable.
Would you, lady? Would you? Destruction at its finest, eh?
Massive amounts of mud, rocks, and water are rushing through the channel, creating a dangerous debris flow capable of destroying everything in its path.
Wah, tuh mobil-mobil itu. Tuh. Lorosi lagi lor. Layu sampai sini. Oh,
Well, you know what? Since it's only you and me, I'm going to order a pizza. I know they're well expensive. Need to eat something. Oh, it's mother. I dove with. What's a ras? Ras, right. Mommy dearest phone, so right, I'm going to be right back. Okay. Okay. Where are we? Right, I'm going to be right back. I don't know, just a normal pepperoni or something. Hope you don't mind me. Hope you don't mind me eating on a live because it's only you and me, for goodness sake. Hey, that's me back. Thanks for waiting. 20 quid later, just like that. Imagine you're just doing your work, no care, no got a care, no will, then all of a sudden that. That's not the sky, is it?
A strange
Does that
object
make
seen in the
sense?
sky over Haiti sparked UFO theories after it appeared to drag another dark object through the clouds
Oh,
behind
that
it.
is weird. That is weird as hell. Explain that. That's not strings.
What'd you do?
A narrow river of mud and debris slowly
I'm gonna try and get a picture of. Don't know if this will work. Picture. Like that one. Quite cute, isn't it? Nice. They're nice, eh? Fan with them. Yeah, it does. Woohoo.
cut through the dry valley, showing the aftermath of a recent flash flood, carving a new path across the land.
The debris flow doesn't last long, but that doesn't make it any less dangerous. It carries stones, branches, and chunks of rock with it, so standing in its way is a very bad idea.
What if that's his real voice?
He can do that. Oh my god.
Well, that is awesome.
Oh, why is it awesome?
This
Oh.
rare optical phenomenon happened when sunlight
ground
refracted through
ground
moisture
rainbow.
in the air, producing a
cool.
rainbow unusually close to the ground.
That's really cool. What the hell are you doing?
Massive piles of ice are being forced inland as strong winds and shifting frozen water push the ice ashore.
What you getting? Oh, right, okay. I thought you typed something there, lady. I am getting a pepperoni pizza, a burger and chips, cheeseburger and chips, because I'm starving. So I probably won't eat all that in one go. So this is going to turn into a mukbang. Why is it only you and me on here? I went on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram and I went, hey, I'm going to be live. It's only you and me. Oh well, times might change.
Creating dangerous conditions
No,
for
man, it's only
nearby
you and me,
roads
but,
and
you know.
communities.
I mean, that's we get 60 subscribers now.
Landslides happen so frequently along India's Kiratpur-Manali highway that even light rain can loosen the unstable mountainside and send mud and rocks sliding onto the road.
I think that's Mother Nature, or do you think that's people's doing? Oh!
These stunning blue ice formations were created by massive glaciers slowly cracking and compressing over time, forming sharp frozen shapes and their brilliant blue color.
这山上钉的是什么？
Canadian world.
居然还发光！今天下雨，这个柱子还这么亮，这是什么？
That makes no sense. Is that?
Although many people mistake them for UFOs, lenticular clouds are completely natural and commonly appear near mountains.
Cool.
Colapsó, señores. Colapsó.
Suppose that's a good thing. Thank you. I suppose that's a good thing with everyone having phones now. You get all these kind of things.
Señores, es un enorme.
This is a powerful whiteout phenomenon, where intense winds blow snow so heavily that visibility drops almost to zero, making safe movement nearly impossible.
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't mind doing that, to be honest.
Gente, olha isso. Olha isso, a altura do fogo. Jesus amado, isso perto do canil, tá, gente? Eles estão correndo, o gado tá lá, olha. Não sei se vocês conseguem ver, o gado tá lá. Eles estão tentando socorrer o gado. Mas olha isso.
No, exactly.
A massive avalanche thundered down the mountains in Nepal's Mustang region, nearly burying an entire village beneath huge clouds of snow and debris.
Imagine living there though, and then you see that coming down. Oh. Power of wind. That makes no sense. Hold on. That makes absolutely no sense, and there's no explanation. It's obviously like devil's eyes looking down at you. How's that possible? Two suns or well, I'm guessing two suns, but that's got to be CGI or something. There's no way. Nah, there's no way. It's scary as hell. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing that looking down at you. Yeah.
It may look like two suns are in the sky, but this incredible view is actually caused by lens reflection and atmospheric light distortion during sunset.
Okay. Cool. A large landslide occurred in Bhavanagar, Kinnaur district, Himachal Pradesh state, India. Okay.
This terrifying landslide in Kampung Pasha, Indonesia, caused an entire section of the hillside to suddenly collapse into a massive cloud of dust and debris.
There's a lot of them on these videos. Video was that? These are all about 5 seconds long. I don't know how delayed this chat is, to be honest. Oh, I forgot to do. Hold on. Here we go.
Con serpientes.
I think that's a combination of global warming and yeah, I think so. Oh, flying fish. Hailstones again.
Golf ball-sized hail pounded the seafront in La Guelia, Italy, turning the peaceful beach into a frozen storm scene within minutes.
Just lying there, enjoying the sun, enjoying a wee cocktail, beer, whatever, and then all of a sudden, hell has came to Earth.
Nature unleashed incredible power at Lake Tahoe, as this deadly storm sent huge waves crashing through Camp Richardson and overturning boats.
But no one was injured. An electric eel. Oh. What's that spiky thing?
These two Laysan albatrosses are performing a courtship dance, a bonding behavior they use to find and strengthen connections with their lifelong mates.
What's your boat? Yeah, I know. Normal day in Scotland.
A mysterious cloud formation shaped like a human face appeared above Nabira, Indonesia, leaving many locals amazed and unsettled by the strange sight.
You get this on your phone?
Yeah.
They were lower a minute.
And what one? Sorry. This chat's behind, so I've probably moved on about 5 clips and then you say something, so I'm not sure what one you're talking about. Where could you run? Hold on. And this one? The beach one?
Unsettled by the strange sight.
Not a face, that's more like a giant person. That's like oh, King Kong. Another one? Oh, I can't think. Oh my god, my memory is so bad.
They're just hanging there. They were lower a minute ago. Stay behind the truck, all right?
All right.
There they go.
This incredible phenomenon.
Yeah, I know. Where would you go? Where would you go?
Phenomenon was caused by intense atmospheric instability, as dust, moisture, and rotating clouds combined into a terrifying vortex formation.
It's mad. Oh.
Candle ice is one of the most beautiful stages of melting lake ice, creating patterns that resemble glass shards floating beneath the surface.
I wonder if they'd be sharp if you fell in though. You do an injury? Right under there is the wee guy in his hut.
A strange UFO-shaped cloud appeared over Russia, fueling speculation that aliens might be paying an unexpected visit.
There's very many strange things in the sky.
A man in Australia captured the incredible moment a meteor streaked across the sky and seemed to crash near the beach like something out of a movie.
Oh. was that?
Students watched in shock as a towering dust vortex suddenly appeared on the school field at Tokiwamatsu Junior High School in Japan.
Oh, it's dissipating now, so then it goes. No. Oh my god. Well, there goes our Timu shite.
The dorsal fin cutting through the water beside the paddleboarder appears to belong to an orca, creating an unforgettable encounter in New Zealand.
A new wetsuit?
Rather them than me. I mean, if it's safe. That's a whale.
Residents in Indonesia's Aceh province were stunned after mysterious piles of white foam suddenly covered rice fields following heavy rain and strong winds.
Tapi ada apa yang akan terjadinya merupakan kuasa Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Yang kala lamblang duk na apa dum kejadiannya. Yang ibarat.
No! Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
Whoa.
Fuck! Fuck!
Okay. Happening there.
The frozen river turned violent after an ice jam suddenly broke apart, sending huge waves and massive chunks of ice racing downstream.
What was this?
Whoa.
Probably
Holy smokes.
quite cool to witness though.
Holy smokes. Oh my goodness. What in the world is this?
Thousands of sheep completely blocked the road in Patagonia, creating a breathtaking summer pasture scene that looked like a moving sea of wool.
Y dijeron que eran 25,000. No sé si será tan así o no.
Not counting in.
25,000. Oh.
Look how many of us.
Quedé atrapado aquí entre medio.
After swallowing the fish whole, this heron looked completely confused as the fish kept moving wildly inside its body like it was dancing.
The fish is still alive in
No.
his mouth. His throat, actually.
Does he spit or swallow?
Yeah? Okay, I guess no idea what this is. 2026, I guess?
Invasion? Is it an invasion? Huh.
What you're seeing is a river ice breakup, where rising temperatures and moving water shatter the frozen surface into huge drifting ice sheets.
No, that's got to be AI or something. There's no way. No. Portal to where? Imagine you could do that. Oh, it's so cool to fly.
Strong storm conditions likely helped form this dangerous tornado near Puebla and Veracruz, Mexico, where rotating air currents intensified rapidly.
Doña, métase usted porque viene un tornado bien feo. Métanse para adentro. Métanse.
Out in the Scottish fields again. Right, well that's that one. Hope you enjoyed that, lady. Oh, hi, Lone TK. Sorry, I didn't actually. I thought I only had one person on loan. Sorry. Apologise, Lona. I thought I was only had speaking to speaking to lady. How are you, Lone? You okay? You good? Hold on. Sorry about that, people. That was my delivery, obviously. Hope you don't mind me eating on loan. Is this Martin, maybe? Go watch that. This most powerful storm moments. You want to watch the most disturbing TV accidents? Yeah.
They are also waking up.
25 TV accidents, 7 levels. I went through hours of old broadcasts and archived footage to compile the most disturbing accidents ever aired on television. We'll start with the unsettling and work our way down to incidents so shocking you won't believe they're real. Level 1. Underwater survival. During an NBA halftime show, thousands of fans sat in their seats to see a woman attempt a deadly underwater escape. She was lowered into a clear glass tank filled with 140 gallons of water. Heavy metal chains locked her legs in place while her wrists were bound in tight handcuffs. Everyone had their eyes peeled as she tried picking the locks. Most people in the stadium expected a quick finish, but then the clock kept ticking past the 2-minute mark. And at some point, it was clear that the woman began to struggle. Her face turned a deep shade of red, and then she stopped moving entirely. A wave of panic swept through the arena as the crew members rushed to the tank's top. They frantically ripped off the locks and pulled the heavy lid open. One man reached deep into the water and hauled her limp body upward as she gasped for air and began to cough violently. Eventually, the performer gathered enough strength to climb out of the tank on her own and wave to the fans.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Illusion, Ridgway and Johnson, the masters of illusion.
Now, this was escape artist Kristen Johnson, also known as Lady Houdini. Surprisingly, she had performed this exact stunt nearly 600 times without a single problem. However, reporters later learned that Kristen had been feeling unwell earlier that day. Her body's low blood sugar made it harder for her to hold her breath. Thus, in the tank, she soon entered survival mode, which forced her to black out. What's more surprising is that she had no memory of the rescue and initially thought she had successfully completed the trick.
He did come to the front of the tank and signaled me that he wanted me to get out, and I just didn't do that fast enough. My body made the decision that I didn't have enough oxygen, so that's why I lost consciousness.
Now, in the end, the performer did not suffer any permanent brain damage and was able to return just 1 week later. Never in a million years could you pay me to try and do anything like that, because I'm guaranteed failing at that, no matter how much I practice. A muddy accident. Episode 6 of The Biggest Loser Season 18 featured a military-style obstacle course challenge. But during the mud pit section, one contestant's body gave out in the worst possible way. Flight nurse Terry Aguiar was racing through the course for the red team. She had already cleared the hurdles and crawled under bars when she reached the 90-foot mud pit. She jumped in to overtake her competitor, but as she landed in the deep water, something went horribly wrong. A sharp pain shot through her ankle, and she immediately screamed that it had snapped.
What happened? What happened, T? She hurt her ankle jumping in.
Medic! We need a medic over here.
Oh my God.
She fell back into the muddy water, unable to move. The medical team had to rush in and pull her out while her teammates ran over in panic. Medics examined her ankle on the side, which had already begun to swell. They wrapped it up fast and loaded her onto a cart to get her to urgent care. Now, later on, the doctors confirmed what everyone feared. She'd fractured her right ankle. Now, most people assumed that she'd have to leave the show, but Terry wasn't done.
Nobody knows what's really going on, but it looks like an injury that's going to take her out of this challenge, if not the competition. It's a little bit of a surreal moment right now.
After the on-set physicians assessed her, they cleared her to continue with modifications. She came back to the ranch in a walking boot, clearly frustrated but refusing to quit. Her trainer, Erica Lugo, had to completely rework her training, focusing on upper body and seated exercises so she wouldn't put any weight on the ankle.
We know that realistically one of the three of us could be going home. I think this injury has got people worried about what kind of numbers I'm going to be able to pull on the scale. It's going to be up to me to work really hard and reassure people that I'm not giving up.
In the end, she became the last woman standing and finished 4th overall before being eliminated in episode 9. Sorry for the spoilers. Level 2. Spinning knives. Knife after knife flew through the air on ITV's This Morning show. But around the 67th blade, one missed its mark. A professional knife thrower was performing a high-speed demonstration on April 10th, 2003. His assistant stood strapped to a spinning board as the target while presenters counted down the time. With about 9 seconds left, one blade suddenly caught the top of her head. She flinched in pain, but stayed in position as the countdown kept going. The act finished moments later, and only then did the presenters notice the blood.
She's got a cut. She does have a cut, but do we know how many that was? 67 round of applause. Marvelous.
The knife thrower was Jada Hansen, a 33-year-old from a circus family, and his Russian assistant, who was also his girlfriend, was 22-year-old Yana Radyanova. Recently, Jada had set a world record by throwing 120 knives in 2 minutes. And now he was trying to demonstrate that same speed on live television with Yana as his target. Now, after the incident, Yana was treated on set by a nurse with surgical glue, and thankfully the wound was just a nick to her scalp, though it looked much worse on camera. If you've never had a head injury, even when they're really small, they tend to bleed a lot. Now, despite the accident, Jada and Yana married in 2004. However, the incident had shaken both of them. Yana later admitted she had trouble standing facing him while he threw knives, causing them to stop the act within a year or two.
It did. It put him off for a while. It took us a while to get back into the ring. It affected my confidence, which affected him as well.
It had never happened before.
We had a few little accidents, but it wasn't where I was standing and he hit me.
As horrific as that was, and thankfully you were fine.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way after a few years of my partner playfully throwing knives at me, and and then one day she missed, and that was it. Face first. CNN hosts invited a guest to show off one of his signature acrobatic moves during a live segment. But let's just say it didn't go quite as planned. The man launched into the air, but as he rotated, he didn't get enough lift. As a result, he under-rotated and slammed face first onto the hard studio floor. The impact was so strong that his mic pack flew out of his pocket and one of his shoes came off. Landing like that can easily snap the neck and cause permanent paralysis. The co-host John Berman tried to save the moment by joking that viewers just saw a brand new twist on America's favorite pastime, but it was too late. The whole thing had aired live. Meanwhile, the guest got up and tried to continue the interview, but moments later he noticed blood dripping from his face, forcing him off stage. A doctor in the building stitched up his busted lip and a cut chin, but surprisingly, there was no serious injuries. The man was Robert Anthony Cruz, a player and coach for the Savannah Bananas. He'd performed this same backflip many times before,
Glad I'm watching this while eating.
even while catching a ball mid-air. But things went wrong just when he was living in the world. Later, Cruz posted the clip on Instagram explaining that he had been getting only 4 hours of sleep. And on top of that, he took an overnight flight to New York that got in around 2 a.m. But when the producers asked if he could do any tricks, he couldn't decline. Well, thankfully, he walked away with only a few stitches and what he called unparalleled dad lore. Bloody Potter. The drop zone obstacle on American Ninja Warrior was designed to test balance and timing. But during the Los Angeles semifinals, it became a bloody disaster. A veteran competitor, Sean Bryan, was making his way through the new obstacle on August 16, 2021. The drop zone had rotating bars that dropped without warning, and as he moved through it, one bar struck him in the head. Now, before he could recover, another bar hit him in the same spot, opening a bad cut above his eye.
Did you hear him ask, is it bleeding? Oh, got another one, and I think he does have a cut above the eye. He does have a cut, and I think he might be bleeding.
In an instant, blood started dripping down his head and into his eye. The hosts couldn't believe what they were seeing. Bryan paused to wipe blood from his face with a towel. He then knelt for a quick prayer before moving to the warped wall with blood still streaming down. Now, despite everything, he hit the buzzer in 5 minutes 57 seconds, becoming the first finisher of the night. Well, after he finished, the bleeding continued for over 4 hours, so he had to go to the hospital where doctors gave him 6 stitches. The doctor said the cut was deeper than it looked, but luckily he recovered and joked about his new Harry Potter scar on Instagram. The American Ninja Warrior who lived. That bar really tried to Avada Kedavra him.
No.
Hanging by one. The Hang Tough event on the BBC's Gladiators had just begun when 2 competitors collided mid-air. A 6-foot gladiator swung across the suspended overhead rings, attempting to intercept contender Finn from scoring. However, the two collided in mid-air during the tackle. The gladiator immediately winced in pain, which forced him to hang from a single ring with just one arm high above the crash mat below. He stayed suspended for several seconds, clearly in distress and unable to pull himself back up. Well, eventually he let go and dropped onto the mat, but instead of getting back up, he remained on his back holding his arm. The arena went silent as the action came to a complete halt. Paramedics and the on-set doctor rushed in to check him, and Finn, the contender he had collided with, also came over in a show of sportsmanship. All the while, the injured gladiator, later identified as Maddie Campbell, remained in visible agony. After several minutes, Maddie was eventually able to get up. He raised a fist to the camera to signal he was okay before leaving the arena with support. The injury turned out to be a shoulder dislocation with a slap tear to the labrum, which required surgery. Now, in the end, the incident made Maddie the 4th gladiator injured during Series 3 filming. I mean, I would say they need better safety standards, but it is a show called Gladiators, so...
You didn't expect what stuff like that happened.
Level 3. Box of Fire. At first, it looked like a usual danger act on Britain's Got Talent. The escape artist was locked inside a box raised above the stage and surrounded by fire while the judges observed from their seats. However, within seconds, the flames grew much bigger than expected. Smoke began pouring around the box, making it hard to see what was happening inside. The judges quickly grew concerned, pointing out that the extent of the fire looked abnormal. Even the show's hosts, watching from the side of the stage, seemed unsure if the stunt was still under control.
That is a lot of fire.
Right.
Now, the escape artist still had time on the clock, but the fire was already moving too fast. As a result, the calm stage act suddenly felt much more serious. Inside the box, he had begun struggling. He was still trapped, still cuffed, and still surrounded by smoke. The plan had been for him to escape through the front or top, but the fire had taken over too quickly. Moments later, the box shook as he fought to get out. The crowd could only watch as the flames kept spreading around him. Before anyone could react, he smashed his way out through the bottom.
Is he all right? Did something go wrong, guys?
The crew rushed in straight away and put out the remaining flames before the situation could get more dangerous. It wasn't until he was safely out that the audience realized the act had in fact not gone according to plan. The performer was later identified as Danny ZZZZ, real name Dan Zimmer. He was an escape artist who had come onto the show to prove himself with a dangerous stunt. Still shaken, he explained that he was meant to have more control inside the box. However, the fire broke out earlier than planned, forcing him to escape from the wrong place. And in the end, despite the situation being potentially fatal, Danny walked off the stage without any serious injuries.
Fire's uncontrollable?
Live on air. KRDO reporter Crystal Story was live on air covering a fatal shooting in Colorado Springs when she saw headlights barreling toward her at a dangerous speed.
Waking up.
Oh.
It was the morning of August 28, 2018, around 6 a.m. Crystal stood near a police cruiser inside the taped-off crime scene, delivering her report for Good Morning Colorado. The street was closed and police vehicles blocked the area. However, as Crystal continued speaking on camera, suddenly there was an engine's noise growing louder by the second. Her eyes widened in terror as she realized a car was coming right at her. She jumped back at the last second and the camera showed an SUV smashing into the parked police cruiser behind them. The impact knocked the camera over, sending the live shot into chaos. And it didn't stop there. The vehicle continued down the street until another police officer at the far end was finally able to stop it. Now, surprisingly, the incident was accidental, as the driver, identified as 51-year-old Michael Brown, was simply trying to get around other vehicles and no was involved. I'd hope not at 6 a.m. The SUV's side mirror clipped Pete as it passed, and despite the close call, he was able to pick up the fallen camera and continue recording the arrest. Meanwhile, Brown faced charges including careless driving, driving through a barricade, and driving without a license. Now, the cases so far were disturbing, but those in the next levels will make your toes curl. So subscribe and keep going.
Prepare.
Level 4. Wipeout Wiped Out. A comedian competing on the BBC's Total Wipeout looked like he was having a winning run until the final obstacle. The British star Dom Jolly had just cleared the iconic Big Red Balls obstacle during the qualifier round in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He'd promised his children he would make it over.
I've actually promised my kids that I will be getting over the red balls.
Oh, you can't promise your children something like that. You don't want to disappoint them for the rest of their life.
I've been quite a disappointment to them most of my life so far, so it's fine.
But as he reached the final challenge called the Shapeshifter, he jumped too far. Dom landed hard in the pool below, which caused his entire foot to collapse on impact. Now, despite the obvious injury, he kept going. Now, he finished the qualifier in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. However, the commentator noticed he was holding his ankle and looked to be in visible pain. But despite that, he pushed through, completing the course before the full extent of the damage became clear.
Dom seems to be struggling on the ladder, not so jolly. Not looking so jolly now. He's holding his ankle. Let's hope he hasn't hurt himself too badly.
And the injury, turned out to be a little worse than a simple sprain. Sadly, he had to withdraw from the rest of the competition and was taken to a hospital. Medical scans revealed he had fractured 4 bones in his foot, requiring surgery with metal screws and plates. The injury even disrupted his stand-up tour, forcing him to perform initial shows in plaster and on crutches while sitting behind a desk.
Well, it makes your skin crawl. I mean, it makes my skin crawl because everyone looks at me like...
But my goodness, did you suffer?
I did. I suffered a lot more than I thought I was going to suffer.
Now, despite the horrible accident, Jolly later said it was the first TV show his family was truly proud of him for doing.
That just proves that doing physical activity isn't good for you.
The show must go on. Mexican variety show Savale was known for chaotic physical challenges, but during one zipline stunt in 2010, the chaos turned deadly serious. Actress and singer Emma Escalante was participating in the show's Tiracela Challenge. Contestants had to slide across the studio holding a bar, and if they couldn't reach the far platform, they'd drop onto stacked safety mats covered in flour below. However, when Emma started down the track, she got stuck midway. The host and crew realized the situation, so after a countdown, she was told to fall seated. However, when she dropped from the bar, she landed awkwardly at a roughly 90-degree angle onto the white mats. And when a colleague tried to touch her, she screamed in pain, not being able to tolerate any contact. Now, at first they tried to present it in the show's usual slapstick style with audience laughter, but it quickly became clear that she was seriously hurt.
¿Todo bien?
Parece que se lastimó.
At that point, the production team made a bizarre choice to hide the emergency. They blasted the song Aremangala Arepujala at full volume. The cameras then cut away from Emma to show the group of people doing a line dance, diverting attention while Emma was assisted off the flour-covered mats. Doctors later confirmed that Emma had suffered severe disc compression in her spine. The impact of the fall had essentially crushed the bones in her back. Furthermore, she had to spend months in recovery and receive injections in her hip just to stand up. Meanwhile, viewers criticized the show for treating the injury so lightly and continuing with music and dancing. The show's hosts eventually admitted that they were forced to ignore accidents. The producers told them through their earpieces to keep smiling and moving no matter what happened. Well, in the end, Emma did return to acting and singing, but the memory of that pain never truly left her, and no major investigation ever followed. Fall of Fame. It took just one wrong camera movement during a Price is Right taping to turn a routine game show into a medical emergency. Model Janice Pennington was standing on stage during the opening sequence on June 18, 1988. A substitute cameraman was panning from the audience to host Bob Barker, but he swung the heavy studio camera the wrong way. The camera struck Pennington directly, knocking her off the stage over a 3-foot ledge into the contestants' row below.
One of the cameras has to swing from the stage to the audience to shoot the audience. The director's going, "Get your shot, get your shot." And the guy whipped his camera, and Janice happened to be standing right there. And there's a ledge with about a 3-foot drop to the concrete floor.
She hit the concrete floor hard. The impact knocked her unconscious in front of the live studio audience. People began screaming as she lay motionless on the ground. And production halted immediately. Emergency medical staff rushed to her side while horrified audience members watched. But what made this incident even more disturbing was Bob Barker's response. He came out and addressed the cast and crew, telling them they had a show to do. Despite Pennington lying motionless on the floor, he instructed everyone to act like nothing had happened because the show must go on.
Bob came out and said, "Listen, we have a show to do." He says, "So I need you to be your best like nothing ever happened, and show must go on."
Now, taping stopped for nearly an hour while Pennington received emergency treatment on set. She was then transferred to a stretcher and taken by ambulance to the hospital. Now, Pennington wasn't just an ordinary staff member. She had been one of the original models on The Price is Right since its 1972 launch, handing Bob Barker the microphone at the start of over 6,000 episodes. But the fall left her with serious back, neck, shoulder, and spinal injuries, including a concussion and broken clavicle. She underwent multiple surgeries, which left one shoulder visibly shorter than the other by about an inch. And what's worse, the permanent scarring and shoulder damage meant she could no longer model swimsuits on the show. However, when she eventually returned around mid-November 1988, Barker addressed the audience about her unfortunate fall, as he put it.
Janice had her unfortunate fall and her hospitalization and her surgery. Everyone's been worried about you. I just wanted to make it official. All of us are glad to have her back, aren't we?
Surprisingly, almost a decade later, Pennington filed a negligence lawsuit against CBS. In March 1992, a jury awarded her $1.3 million. And despite everything, she continued working on The Price is Right until December 2000. 20 screws. It started as a basic hanging challenge on Spain's Salvame. But moments later, TV personality Belén Esteban was seen screaming in pain. The challenge was simple. She had to hang from a metal bar for as long as possible. However, after only a few seconds, she lost her grip and fell hard onto the studio floor. Her foot appeared to be turned the wrong way, and it was visible that Belén had broken her ankle from the way she was screaming in pain. Colleagues rushed over and told her not to move so she wouldn't make it worse. They tried to calm her down while calling for medical help, but Belén kept shrieking, saying she felt the bone snap on impact. Finally, the medical team arrived and started examining her leg before putting it in a brace. She was taken straight to the hospital after that. Now, at first, the doctors thought she might avoid surgery with just 6 to 8 weeks in a cast, but the injury turned out to be a lot worse. Belén had broken both her tibia and fibula. The bone had literally splintered into pieces. Surgeons had to use 2 metal plates and 20 screws to put her leg back together in a 3-hour-long operation. As a result, Belén was left completely devastated and unable to walk. She spent the next 7 months in a wheelchair and eventually had to relearn how to walk. But finally, on September 5th, 2022, Belén came back to the show with the plates and screws still in her leg. Dog on live TV. A rescue story on Denver's 9 News took a horrifying turn when the news anchor leaned in to say goodbye to the hero dog. Kyle Dyer was wrapping up an interview on the morning of February 8th, 2012. They sat on the studio couch with a firefighter, the dog owner, and an 85-pound Argentine Mastiff named Max. Max had been rescued just the day before after falling through ice on Frozen Smith Reservoir while chasing a coyote. The dog seemed happy and kept wagging his tail throughout the segment. However, as Dyer leaned in to pet Max under the chin one last time, the dog suddenly bared its teeth and lunged at her face, biting down hard. She screamed and pulled back immediately. She realized how bad it was and left the set while crew members rushed to help, triggering a panic on the broadcast. Dyer was rushed to Denver Health Medical Center, where doctors found that the top part of her upper lip had been completely torn off. The damage was severe enough that she needed emergency reconstructive surgery lasting about 4 hours.
You know, by the end of that interview, it was just a fluke. I didn't see anything that threatened. I felt threatened. I didn't realize that I was threatening him, and it just happened.
Consequently, the rescued dog Max was immediately impounded and placed in a mandatory 10-day quarantine to check for rabies. He was returned to his owner afterward with no further action taken. Meanwhile, the owner was cited for a leash law violation and for failing to have proper vaccinations, though he claimed they were up to date. As for Dyer, she had a second surgery about 2 weeks later with 20 new stitches, and ultimately returned to the 9 News anchor desk 2 months after the attack.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Level 5. The X signal. Monday Night Raw is known for staged injuries, but on September 7th, 2020, viewers watched something genuinely frightening. A massive wrestler climbed the ropes to perform a high-risk dive to the outside of the ring. He launched his body through the air to take out his opponents on the floor. However, a hand from the crowd of wrestlers caught him in the face during his flight, and this impact snapped his head back with incredible force midair. He crashed onto the thin mats outside the ring and landed awkwardly on his side. His legs immediately buckled and went limp as if they were no longer attached to his body. Despite the lack of feeling, the athlete managed to cross his arms into a large X shape. Now, this is the universal sign for a real medical emergency in the wrestling world. The referee saw the signal and realized the man was actually paralyzed on the concrete.
I went to put my hands into the X. It's just the signal that I'm hurt. I need medical out here. Yeah. And I didn't feel my arms at all.
The match had to end instantly with a quick pin so the medical team could rush to the floor. Doctors surrounded the man while he lay motionless in front of the virtual screens. The wrestler could not feel his arms or his legs for several terrifying seconds. Eventually, they strapped him to a stretcher and wheeled him out of the arena to a waiting ambulance. The injured man was Ivar, a member of the tag team known as the Viking Raiders. Doctors at the local hospital discovered that 2 discs in his neck had literally exploded into his spinal cord. The impact from the dive had forced the bone and tissue to crush his nerves. Thus, this injury caused the temporary paralysis he felt on the floor. Now, ultimately, he was rushed into emergency surgery in Alabama. He spent 7 months away from the ring to let his neck heal from the surgery and, surprisingly, made a triumphant return to the screen to win more championships with his partner.
A
ruined career. During the evening gown competition at the 74th Miss Universe pageant in Bangkok, a contestant suddenly vanished from the stage. The beauty queen walked down a brightly lit runway in a sparkling orange gown. She strutted with total confidence, occasionally pausing to pose for the judges. However, in the next moment, she suddenly fell through a dark hole that was hidden in the floor. This gap was over 4 feet deep, causing her to tumble directly into the audience area. Staff members scrambled to reach the opening, but the woman was not moving. Medical teams rushed onto the floor and placed her on a stretcher. They carried her out of the building while the other contestants watched in total shock. And this footage went viral worldwide within hours. Many viewers wondered how such a dangerous trap could exist on a professional stage. The woman was Dr. Gabrielle Henry, a 28-year-old eye doctor representing Jamaica. At the hospital, the doctors discovered the fall was much worse than it looked. She had hit her head with so much force that she suffered a brain bleed. She had a broken bone and deep cuts across her face, and as a result, she was placed in the intensive care unit for over a week. Her family flew across the world to stay by her side while she remained in critical condition. The Miss Universe organization eventually released a massive statement about the accident. They admitted that the stage was too dark and the light holes were a major safety risk. Other contestants later explained that they were terrified to walk in that area during practice. Therefore, the organization took full responsibility for the injuries. They paid for all her medical bills and funded a special flight to take her back to Jamaica. Now, ultimately, Gabrielle had to withdraw from the pageant to focus on her long recovery. She spent months in the hospital learning how to move and heal again. Sadly, she's not been able to return to her job as a doctor or finish her pageant duties. Mr. Beast Games. The challenge rules had stated no kicking or pushing. However, in the chaos of thousands fighting for $5 million, well, those rules meant nothing.
I am sitting on $5 million in cash and competing for it. Open the gates! What you are witnessing is just the start of something never before seen in history.
A woman came forward months after participating in the Beast Games hosted by Mr. Beast to describe what happened during a challenge that left her with a life-altering injury. According to contestant Amanda Rose, she was running toward her briefcase during the briefcase challenge when she collided with another contestant. She got knocked down, but before she could stand back up, multiple people piled on top of her in the scramble. Someone kicked her in the head, so she blacked out for a moment as bodies continued rushing past her.
Despite the point that probably dozens of people saw me actually kicked, no one referred me to nurses or to the ambulance or anything else. I didn't know I was kicked because apparently I blacked out momentarily.
When she was eliminated, production gave her minimal medical attention. She told crew members she had been knocked down and kicked, but no one sent her to the medical team or nurse station. A producer even asked her for a selfie during her exit. She left the stadium without receiving any proper medical care despite reporting what happened. The next day, while driving home, she started feeling unusually sleepy on the interstate, so she eventually drove herself to urgent care where the doctors diagnosed her with a traumatic brain injury. She experienced extreme fatigue, short-term memory problems, sensitivity to light, issues with depth perception, and persistent headaches. She couldn't do the analytical work she used to do before the competition, which meant she lost her ability to do her job. And things got even worse when, after 12 weeks, she had barely made progress on concussion scales. Doctors told her that full recovery wasn't guaranteed and could take at least a year if it even happened at all. She eventually had to start a GoFundMe to cover her expenses. Now, ultimately, Amanda reported the incident to the Las Vegas Police Department, and in September 2024, several contestants filed a class action lawsuit against Mr. Beast-related companies.
It is part of my goal that relevant authorities review the evidence and bring charges that are appropriate. Certainly charges against Jimmy Donaldson, but frankly, the other people involved.
Mr. Beast's team responded that they had contacted 97% of the 2,000 attendees to gather feedback and had launched a formal review of the process. Mr. Beast himself later claimed on social media that the allegations were blown out of proportion, adding that behind-the-scenes footage would be released alongside the show to address the controversies. However, multiple news outlets reached out to Amazon for comment and received no response. As of late 2024, Amanda was still recovering with a goal of returning to her normal life, but the capability she had before Beast Games remains out of reach.
And so I make this video to document my story as I prepare for brain surgery. As you'll see, much of this story touches on the relationship that I have with my 15-year-old son. It's very difficult here in this household.
Just what a
Why?
mess that whole production is.
Yeah.
Go
Explain that
watch
then.
the video that Folding Ideas made on it. Seriously. Falling Mirrors.
Which one's for you to watch, lady?
Mirrors concert on July 28, 2022 drew massive crowds to the Hong Kong Coliseum. But midway through the show, the venue erupted in panic. 12 pop stars and a group of dancers were performing on stage under a set of massive hanging video screens. The show was filled with bright lights and
It's
loud
happening,
music until
eh?
a metal
Let's
cable
imagine.
suddenly snapped above the performers. This caused one of the giant screens to tilt at a dangerous angle while it dangled by a single wire. However, that second wire failed only moments later, forcing the 1,100-pound panel to plummet toward the floor. It crashed directly onto the stage while the dancers were in the middle of their routine, and the heavy screen landed flat on one man, pinning him to the ground before toppling onto another person. Now, due to community guidelines, we can't show that full video on YouTube, but you can find the uncensored version of this iceberg on our Patreon. Now, the other performers nearby stopped and rushed toward the wreckage to lift the massive weight. And at the same time, emergency responders flooded the stage to treat the victims while the audience was told to leave the building immediately. Footage of the impact went viral within minutes, leaving the public wondering how such a heavy object could have just fallen from the ceiling. The injured dancers were later identified as Mo Li Kai-yin and Chang Sifeng. Chang had minor injuries, including scratches, a pulled muscle, and a fractured pelvis, but Mo was in far worse condition. He was rushed to the ICU with severe neck and spinal trauma. His cervical vertebrae were dislocated and fractured, leaving him at high risk of permanent paralysis from the neck down. This caused the Hong Kong government to also cancel the remaining 8 shows immediately. Later investigations into the incident found that the suspension wire had snapped due to metal fatigue, but that wasn't the only problem. The panel's actual weight was much heavier than what had been reported. Now, beyond that, the installation had design flaws, and poor assembly work had caused extra damage to the rope.
The rare accident at the Hong Kong Coliseum sent shockwaves across Hong Kong. Concert organizers apologized several times and pledged their full support to the 2 injured dancers, one of whom is still fighting for his life.
As a result, the police arrested 5 contract workers in November 2022 for fraud and false declarations about equipment weight. Additionally, Mo filed a lawsuit in July 2025 against 11 parties connected to the production. As of 2026, he continues rehabilitation, working on exercises to control an electric wheelchair.
Okay.
Level 6. 2 full rotations. It was a stunt that had never been done before, and for good reason. 26-year-old Bruce Cook was attempting the world's first double front flip on a dirt bike in front of a live audience on January 3rd, 2014 at Copps Coliseum in Hamilton. He launched off the ramp, and the bike rotated once, twice, completing both full flips in the air.
Pause. Excuse me. Oh.
However, the bike did not quite reach the proper angle for a safe landing. The rider came off the back of the seat while still in midair, leaving him with nothing to hold on to. The next second, he slammed directly into the hard landing ramp with the full weight of his body. Now, the impact was catastrophic, sending the bike tumbling away from him. Bruce lay completely still on the ramp while the music in the arena stopped. Medical teams rushed onto the floor and carefully placed him on a stretcher, and later doctors discovered that the crash had crushed one of his lower vertebrae and snapped his spinal cord. As a result, Bruce had lost all feeling and movement in his legs. He had spent months training for this specific moment and wanted to be the first person in history to land the double front flip on dirt. Yet one small mistake in the air destroyed that dream forever. Still, Bruce didn't give up. Nearly 2 years later, he returned to Nitro Circus and became the first paraplegic rider to land a ramp-to-ramp motorcycle backflip.
Awesome. Good on him.
Fall
Never give up.
of a
Never give up.
legend. High-stakes wrestling matches always carried risk, but at Korakuen Hall, that risk became a devastating reality. It was October 22nd, 2001. A wrestler launched himself off the middle rope during an FMW event in Tokyo. He was attempting a springboard moonsault when his foot slipped on the rope. He lost all his momentum mid-air, which meant his body was already positioned for a backflip, but had nothing to complete it. As a result, he fell almost straight down and landed directly on the top of his head. The referee quickly realized something was wrong and rushed to his side, but his opponent, not realizing what had happened, came back and stepped on his chest, holding him down as part of the match. However, the wrestler remained motionless beneath him. Finally, the crowd began to realize something was seriously wrong as officials and audience members rushed into the ring to help. The man was Eiji Izaki, known to millions of fans as the legendary Hayabusa.
What?
He was the heart of the FMW wrestling promotion and its biggest star. Later, doctors confirmed he had cracked 2 vertebrae in his neck. This injury caused instant paralysis from the neck down, leaving him trapped in a hospital bed at just 32 years old. In an instant, Hayabusa went from being a world-class athlete to someone who could not even brush their own teeth. The entire wrestling company also eventually collapsed without its main attraction. Hayabusa later admitted he felt deep despair during those first few months. Still, he refused to give up on himself entirely and spent the next 14 years in grueling physical therapy. Eventually, a miraculous moment happened in 2015 at the same arena where he fell. He stood up from his wheelchair with a cane and walked into the ring on his own feet. Level 7. The last lap. The 2014 Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka was already dangerous due to heavy rain from an approaching typhoon. A thick mist covered the circuit as the world's fastest cars splashed through deep puddles at high speeds. But one driver lost control of his vehicle and slid off the track into a wall of tires. Because of this, a massive yellow recovery tractor drove onto the grass to lift the broken car away. But moments later, a second car approached the same exact corner. It suddenly hit a patch of standing water, so the tires lost all grip on the pavement. The vehicle spun wildly and launched toward the recovery zone at over 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's it. Don't do any physical exercise. Don't enter into any physical competitions. Don't do any of this. Just sit and watch YouTube videos, and you'll be totally fine. You'll be totally fine.
It then slammed directly into the back of the heavy metal crane. The impact was so violent that the front of the race car slid completely under the tractor. The race was stopped immediately as medical teams rushed to the scene. They found the driver unconscious and trapped inside the mangled remains of his cockpit. He was rushed to a local hospital in Japan for emergency brain surgery. The driver was 25-year-old Jules Bianchi, who drove for the Maruggia team. It turned out that Jules was traveling at roughly 126 kilometers per hour when he hit the water. Furthermore, a technical glitch in the car's braking system prevented the engine from cutting power during the crash. Doctors confirmed that Jules suffered a very severe type of brain trauma. He remained in a coma for 9 long months while his family stayed by his side. And sadly, he passed away in July 2015 without ever waking up.
Oh my
His
God.
death marked the first time a Formula One driver died from race injuries in over 20 years. The 619 setup. The tag team match in Tijuana, Mexico had been fast and exciting until one wrestler went completely limp on the ropes. Rey Mysterio Jr. had just executed a spinning head scissors takedown during the March 20th, 2015 match at the Crash promotion. The move sent his opponent out of the ring, but the wrestler climbed back onto the apron and stepped through the ropes. However, Mysterio delivered a drop kick to his upper back. The opponent fell forward, and his neck struck the middle rope hard. He immediately went motionless and hung over the middle rope while the match continued. Well, moments later, Mysterio bounced off the ropes to set up his signature 619 move, but as he got closer, he noticed something was wrong and missed on purpose. At the same time, his partner began to nudge and shake his shoulder, but he remained completely limp. That was when a staff member at ringside began shaking the wrestler's shoulder to wake him up. Panic began to build as people in the front row screamed for a doctor, but the match continued. Nearly 2 minutes passed as the wrestler remained motionless, so to end the match for medical intervention, Mysterio quickly pinned his opponent. The bell rang and paramedics finally rushed in. They didn't have a proper backboard, so they used a large piece of plywood to carry him out. He was taken to Hospital de Prado in Tijuana, where he was pronounced dead early on March 21st. The fallen wrestler was Elgio de Pero Aguayo, a 35-year-old legendary luchador. Authorities immediately opened an investigation.
No,
but
I'm
the
going to start
Tijuana
doing that
Wrestling
though.
Commission ruled it was an
Sorry.
accident with no negligence involved.
Yeah, so once I finish the live, it goes up on my YouTube channel, so you can sit and watch that again if you want. Yeah.
A doctor who worked with the family cleared Rey Mysterio of any blame, and the director of AAA Wrestling said no one was at fault. Mysterio later said he struggled mentally after the incident, but eventually dedicated a championship victory to Aguayo. 6 seconds. It took roughly 6 seconds for Furiani Stadium to turn from celebration into chaos on May 5th, 1992. Thousands of fans sat in a massive metal stand to watch a major football semifinal in Corsica. The atmosphere was electric while the players warmed up on the pitch just below the seats. Suddenly, a deafening crack echoed through the stadium as the metal structure began to sway. The upper section of the stand simply vanished, sending thousands of people into a dark void. It looked like a giant wave of metal and bodies crashing toward the ground. Spectators fell nearly 20 meters into a tangle of jagged scaffolding and broken seats. A heavy silence followed the crash, but it was quickly replaced by screams for help. Live television cameras captured the horror as rescuers and players rushed toward the wreckage. They used their bare hands to pull people from the twisted metal, but the damage was overwhelming. The football pitch was turned into a makeshift hospital in minutes, leaving the star players to act as paramedics. Eventually, helicopters landed on the grass to fly the most injured fans to nearby cities. This tragic event resulted in 19 deaths and over 2,000 injuries. Many survivors suffered broken limbs or permanent spinal damage from the long fall. Investigators eventually stepped in to find out why a stadium stand would just give way. It turned out that the club had secretly demolished their old stand to build this temporary one in just 10 days. They wanted to double the capacity to make more money from ticket sales. In fact, the workers were seen tightening bolts just minutes before the game began. Even worse, the club president had ignored the fire department's safety warnings. As a result, the entire structure was a death trap waiting for a heavy crowd. Consequently, 8 people were convicted of manslaughter for their roles in the disaster. However, the club president was assassinated shortly before his trial began, so he never faced a judge. Well,
imagine
I was
that.
about to say, was it worth all the extra ticket money? But I'm gonna say probably not.
Level 8. That's the last one. Level 8 of every episode is now available on Patreon. Oh my god.
Now, if you found these cases disturbing...
Hey. Here we go. Well, that's all I'm going to do for tonight. Ladies, gentlemen, thanks very much for joining my live. And I will most likely be up. Oh, what's it? Oh my gosh, where are we? Ooh, look at the eyes. So these people know the risks. Yeah, I suppose. So that's me for this live tonight. I will be back tomorrow night. Thanks very much. And until tomorrow night, thanks for watching. And remember, the Eerie Watcher is always watching.